Hello there, Tom Holyby with Ashgar Defense. There's been some problems in the general public lately. The government has proven itself useless as always. People are dying, people are getting hurt. We've got riots and protests and fire and violence, and might as well call it Armageddon outside. And so some good people are out there wondering to themselves, well, should I get a gun? And if I should, what gun should I get? And before you go to the gun store, which has every reason to sell you the wrong thing, allow me, who has absolutely no financial reason to sell you the wrong thing, sell you the right thing. Rifles may be appealing, and they are. I mean, look at this thing. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's an AK. Ooh. But they're kind of limited. And what I mean by that is I don't have a rifle on me very often. Compared to my handguns, I have a rifle on me never. And that's the problem. These are not socially acceptable forms of carry or armament in the general populace. Now, whether ought or whether ought not, that's not for me to say. All I can say is strap a rifle on you and go to the grocery store. People are not going to be your friend. And in this world, we already have enough enemies. You don't need to make enemies of your neighbors. If you got the money for it, by all means, buy a rifle. I'm not telling you don't buy a rifle. They're fucking great. 30 rounds versus 17 or 15 or 10. And it's, in this case, 30 caliber. In this case, you load it up with Defiant Munitions TCX and woohoo, there you go. So rifles are nice. However, if you don't have a budget, again, this is if you're new. If you have a budget, get a pistol and a rifle. By all means, get a pistol and a rifle. I ain't telling you no. But if you're on a budget, what I'm going to tell you is get a handgun. And when I say get a handgun, I say get a Glock. And when I say get a Glock, I mean any striker-fired 9mm handgun. It's kind of a litmus test there, because what I said is get a Glock. All handguns should be 9mm. All 9mm should be striker fired. All striker fired guns should be Glocks. See how many people understand that. And so the reason why I have this on me all the time, not in my house, not in my car, which you shouldn't keep guns in your car anyways. It's not away from me. It's with me. A handgun on me is worth 1,000 rifles at home. Okay? Get a handgun. Get a Glock. Get the training. I can't stress this enough. Get training. Get genuine training taught by someone who is teaching it from the perspective of an armed citizen, not from the perspective of gamesmanship or law enforcement or military action, from the perspective of a civilian, okay? And what I mean by that is no authority, no control, no dominion, only survival. And I use that loosely because it's not really survival, but I don't have a lot of terms. The reason I say that is all too often I see students, especially beginner people, they get lost in the sauce and they see the cosplay tactical instructors running around out there who put on all their kit and caboodle for a pistol class, and they'll tell you that this is how you should be. No, I know they'll wear camo pants and all this stuff. I'm not against camo pants, but again, for general population, it kind of sets, well, I don't know if I need that. Train with people who don't wear camo pants, who when they're teaching you how to defend yourself with a handgun, they keep in mind that about 99% of us are going to be carrying from the concealed position. So your instructors should dress pretty normal. They may have a uniform, but so long as the tenet of concealed carry exists, I don't have an issue with it. I only have issue when they bring out, external magazine carriers and outside the waistband holsters. That's really the only time you should be worried about it, because training needs to fit your life. You need to be able to take whatever it is you learn in class and be able to maintain it in your life. To quote Musashi, make training a part of everyday life. What that means is when you're doing the dishes, you should be able, through competent, confident training, be able to just do a simple draw and press out a dry fire work with a loaded gun and not have any external or internal stressed impulses. Okay? You don't need to touch triggers when you do dry fire practice. You should be able to do dry fire practice with a loaded gun. The whole unload it first thing is nonsense. And the reason why, is what you are subconsciously conditioning yourself to do is press trigger because the gun becomes the stimulus, not the stimulus. If we break that down, and I'm just in my house doing dry fire practice, pointing my gun in a safe direction, not at people, then what is my stimulus to press the trigger? Do I have one? I do not. So should I press the trigger? No. There's a lot of reasons to draw a gun and not touch the trigger, right? Hey, go away is a really good reason. I don't have to touch the trigger. My force has to be equal. The issue is when you have the dry fire guys and the people who recommend unloading their guns, this becomes the issue, is they do that as fast as they can from the holster to the target to the trigger. That becomes a subconscious impulse, making just the very act of drawing a weapon the reaction. And then they do really dumb things like put featherweight triggers in there. And so the chances of you changing your mind diminish immensely. Is this force necessary? And you do have to ask yourself this question. Is the force necessary for the problem? It's like trying to hammer a nail into a board with a jackhammer. It is a hammer. It's a little much for the problem that I need to fix. Through training, you will figure out that it's not actually that difficult and you don't need to touch triggers. You'll gain the confidence and the competence necessary. You should be making conscious decisions. It's not an unconscious thing. It's not subconscious. And it damn sure is not that automatic thing that people go out and tell you. If you think it's going to get to automatic, you're doing things wrong. So there's that. So there's a few bits of things to caution yourself against when it comes to picking your instructor. Don't pick them just because it says former LE or former military or former whatever. None of that actually means anything to you. You may think it does because it's kind of like doctors, right? It's a doctor. You do know that you can be a doctor of psychology. I don't need a doctor of psychology in the emergency room or during brain surgery. Dr. Fauci is a doctor. We all know how you all know how he is. So you just because it says former whatever, and to be clear, just because it says former military, that doesn't even mean that they saw action that you think that they saw, or that they advertised that they think that you saw, that you think they saw. Military is like an umbrella term, and that can be everything from a pencil pusher to a door kicker to a tanker to, it's like the Bill Burr joke, right? The guy who's got the cones is not the same guy in the plane. Okay? So just because it says former whatever, don't worry yourself about that. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a sales gimmick, It's like alcohol. How do you advertise alcohol? Well, you put a bunch of young, sexy people together drinking the alcohol, and you go, oh yes, I wish to be young and sexy, so therefore I will drink that alcohol. It's deceptive advertising, that's all it is. Don't fall for it. Seek out instructors that are teaching things that are relevant to you. You should be able to email them and ask them, hey, what do you teach in the view of civilian gun ownership? What do you teach for the guy who works at Amazon or the guy that works at Burger King? What's your training, what you teach impart to that person. Okay? So, quick synopsis of everything I said. If you got the budget, buy a pistol and a rifle. If you don't got the budget, just buy a pistol. Afford training, and don't fall for deceptive advertising. All right? You have a good one. Bye.